Welcome back to our second part of our Fresh Service tour with Roxanne, your friendly neighborhood Fresh Service expert and service management professional. I've chosen to work with Fresh Service because it's a tool that I particularly like. I have been a customer of Fresh Service and I'm now a partner of Fresh Service. So today's video, I'm going to take you through some of the basics of ticketing and the agent view. If you want to go see what the view looks like from the customer's perspective in a self-service portal, then I would go and look at video number 1 in this series that's just taking you through a tour of Fresh Service, how it works, what it looks like, and going through some of the key features and things that I particularly like about it, and then maybe some stuff that you might want to be aware of when you're making a tool selection. So without further ado, so when you log into Fresh Service as an agent, this is the view you're going to see at first. So this is my demo instance. So you can see here, there are certain things that I have already customized because of other videos and things that we haven't. So when you log in, this is the default that you will see straight away, a view of your tickets of what's going on within your groups based on your permissions. So this is the live dashboard. You're able to come in here as an agent and customize this to the views that are important to you. So whether that's my tickets, overdue tickets, tickets for a particular customer, tickets of a particular SLA state, whatever that is, I can customize that view for myself. I'm also able to, as a team lead, add multiple more dashboards under here and have views that are focused on my team's performance and maybe the things that I want to show them. So that's all super easy. This is all linked to the views in Fresh, and we've got all the different widgets down here at the right hand side that we can then just drag onto the board as and when we wish. I need to take one off because this has got the maximum number on here, and pull these on. Thank you. There we go. And then that would then, for example, that's going to default and give me my average first response time, which is probably terrible because this is my demo instance. But you can see here, I can set that to me. I can set it to a specific team. And indeed, I can change the widget label. And that will give me stats about what's going on there. So super easy, super customizable. I will call out that is the live view of what's going on. Reporting in Fresh Service is very different. At present, as I'm recording this now in January 2025, reporting is about half an hour behind live. There is an item on the Freshworks roadmap to move that to live reporting. So I would expect, and I've said this to a few customers, I'm expecting this particular feature to get an upgrade at some point, but it isn't mentioned on the roadmap. But it's just something to be aware of when you're looking at making a decision about a tool. This is your live view of what's going on. This is what you can see as an agent. This is what you can set as a team lead, and you're reporting at the minute in analytics. Incredibly powerful, and we'll go through that in another video, but is set to being half an hour behind as of January 2025. So I come in as an agent. What do I do next? Well, I can come in here and go immediately to stuff that's overdue, and if I click on that, it's going to take me into the ticket view. So here in the ticket view, this is super clean, super neat, customizable. But again, I'm going to call out one of the limitations of Fresh Service, which I really don't think is a limitation, but it's something you need to think about if you're used to a tool or that is highly customized, is they are very protective of their UX. So this view is customizable in terms of the columns I can choose, the light and dark settings. So I can come in here and say basically any column, any property of a ticket, I can show here as a column. I can reorganize them if I want to. I can say where they are. And I can say whether it's in compact view or default view. See, that's just shifted. So that's compact, that's default. I can set the order of those. I can set which ones is that a fixed. So I can set here, and then that effectively gives me a freeze pane to go backwards and forwards. I can do all of that. I cannot do lots of customization on this view. It's something that's very restrictive in Fresh Service, but the benefit that you get with that, so because it's not highly customized from a UX perspective, there is not lots of opportunity or any opportunity to run things like JavaScript in the UX. You are then getting a truly SaaS service that is updated every month. So it's something to call out, something that does come up when we talk to customers that are coming off of maybe something like Remedy or ServiceNow. That is something that you lose. Some people will feel like that's a loss, but you gain so much more, and it's just something to be aware of. So I can customize that. I can customize my filters. Again, basically select any property of a ticket. And I've also now got, as of about 3 or 4 months ago, now advanced filters. So that also then allows me to have much more creativity in terms of my the ifs and ands and ors of something, but also looking at things related to my ticket. So I'm able to do these views on complicated things like if I have service requests, so I want to look at specific fields of a service request or specific service requests. If I want to look at specific things to do with specific users or requesters, assets, and then impacted services. So you've got that dynamic bit there as well that's come in, and that's come in within the last 6 months in terms of the release. So that's where you would work from as a user, and obviously you can then switch this to dark mode as well, should you wish to. I'm going to switch that back just for the purpose of the video because I think that's a little bit too much. I normally have mine set to wherever I'm doing system default wise. So as my computer goes into dark mode at the end of the day, as the sun goes down, then it'll switch to dark mode for me in the evening. So what can I see here? So what this is telling me about is one of the default views. I can come in here, change these filters. I can, as I change them, I can save this really easily to save me a new view. I can save it for myself normally as default as an agent. If I've got permissions, I can save it for everybody and share it. And then this view can then become one of those tiles on that main screen. So there's no SQL involved. There's no scripting. There's no having to know the commands and write an Excel style formula to do the search. All of that there, all completely WYSIWYG. Hit the source. What are my source drop downs? What are my tags? What category am I looking for? Easy peasy. And that's just going to build that up for me. What this is then showing me is the workspace this ticket is in. So if you're using Workspaces, maybe you've got, in my case, I've got tickets for IT and I've got tickets for legal, so I can clearly see that view. Obviously, I have visibility of everything in this demo instance, so I can see both. If you didn't have permission, you wouldn't see that. I can see the subject clearly that's coming on. Typically, that will be the subject of the email or the subject of the service request, which you can control, and we'll go through another video. Who my requester is. I just added close date when we were just examining this. So that's why that's there, as I was explaining. And then we have something here called state. So state is telling me what the state of that ticket is in comparison to the SLA. So you can see on my ones, they're all showing as overdue because this is my demo. So when this is a new ticket, what that's going to show is new. New means it's within the response time SLA for that ticket. Response due is saying it's now overdue, that first response, or it's within the window of first response being due. And I'm going to open this and show you. You can see my first response was due Thursday 23rd. It's now beyond that. And then overdue is then my resolution is now overdue. So you can see that is now my resolution time is overdue. The other thing this will show, which I don't have because I haven't got anybody responding, is that when a requester responds, it will also show me requester responded. And it will show that with a blue box. So it's really easy for your agents to see, actually, my customers replied to that one. I can go and deal with that one because they've responded back to me again. Status is then different from state. Status is what we use to manage our work internally and say, is it open? Is it in progress? Am I waiting on a customer? Am I waiting on a change? Whatever you want those to be. So again, these are the defaults. We've added audit in here, merged because we've been doing some other demos. You can add what you want in here and you can choose to hide a lot of the default ones. I will say things like pending, I don't particularly like. I normally hide that for people in their instances when we're setting it up, and we make it a lot more descriptive. So is it pending because I'm awaiting customer, I'm awaiting change, I'm waiting on a third party, awaiting training, awaiting resources? What are those reasons that we're awaiting something? But you will always have open, resolved and closed, and you're also able to, in the back end, very, very easily toggle in and out which one of those the SLA clock runs on and which ones it's paused on. Again, super easy. We'll go through that in another video. Priority, so then you can go from low, medium, high, very high. That is set automatically on incident tickets when you say the urgency versus the impact. And then I can see who's assigned to here. And again, I can change any of those columns as I feel what's important to me and any other fields I might add to my field tickets because that's what's important to my business. So if we go into a ticket, what you'll then see is, again, super clean UX. So again, not highly customizable. It's really, really important to kind of call that out. It's not highly customizable. So this is very WYSIWYG. What you see is what you'll get. You've got some options on the right-hand side here to add apps and things like maintenance windows or Teams integrations or stuff, but it's limited to there. So I'm just calling that out now because that's something that can be a not necessarily a deciding factor, but it's something that can feel very restrictive. But I am going to keep repeating to you, it may feel restrictive, but you get so much more because Fresh puts those constraints on you, meaning that you get so much more flexibility of getting those seamless updates every month. And as I record this one today, this instance has been updated this morning. As I've logged in, I can see that the release has come in and I didn't have to do anything. It just magic. So when I'm looking at my ticket, what can I see? First, the number of it. If it's an SR, it says SR. If it's an incident, it says incident. And then in other workspaces, I could have major incident, I could have case, I could have query. It depends on what I want my other workspaces to label them. Fresh is very good at not getting upset if you switch the type of ticket backwards and forwards. So if you change from incident to service request, so you get an email in, it defaults to incident. You say that's not incident, it's a service request, stays the same number. It does, and it just carries on. In this case, we have a service request that's been raised by my automation. So it's asking me to do my morning checks. It's giving me the description. Now, if that had come in as an email, it would look much the same, but the body of the email would be here in description. The subject of the email would be here, and the person having sent the email would be here. And you can obviously click on this and open it up and immediately see the details of that person underneath. Typically what you would obviously have is that connected to your Azure, Entra, Active Directory, or whatever identity management system, and Fresh is going to pull in all the information about that person from your ID management system, and they'll tell you where they are, tell you what their department is, their line manager is, all that sort of wonderful stuff. Works really great. We've then got when did this come in, what time, via what channel. In the case of a service request, you could request it for someone else, so they've requested it for themselves. And then it's going to give me the body of whatever the message was. Top right hand corner is telling me this is an IT, it's open, it's priority, when is its first response due, when is its resolution due. You can see I've got the pencil on there because again I'm the admin in my account, but those things are being applied automatically based on the properties of the ticket. So you could have different SLAs for incidents versus service requests. You could have different SLAs for where the user is based in the world. You could have different SLAs for different teams. Fresh will automatically apply that once you give it the business rules of saying, if the ticket has these properties, then we apply these rules. And I'm pretty sure I've got a video up about SLAs somewhere else I'll link below. We then get the requester's information. Obviously, this is the system, so it's not giving me a whole lot, but it'll then show me location, that sort of thing. And it will also show me any related assets to that person, which is great for first line service desk because it's like my laptop doesn't work. Okay, what's the serial number of your laptop? It's Fresh is giving that information to the agent straight away saying, hey, we've linked to Intune, we've linked to Jamf, we're linked up to Active Directory, therefore we're ingesting all that information straight away. Intune knows that's your laptop, so now Fresh knows that's your laptop, and it's going to show me that there, making life, that giving you that information to hand. All part of the built-in service, all part of the free connectors, not extra cost. Really a really, really great way to improve your practice very quickly. Then down the right hand side, this is where when we are talking about customization, you have a little bit more freedom. So basically everything above kind of here, agent is kind of fixed where it is in the UI. So we have priority. In my instance, that's locked down because I have it driven by impact and urgency. We have status, we have source, I can switch between incident and service request. If I switch this to an incident, I'm going to lose approvals. You can't do approvals on incident, but I will gain things like escalating to major incident management. But the view looks very, very similar. If I just switch these backwards and forwards real quick, you'll see almost imperceptibly different, but this is now INC. We've then lost approvals, but we've gained impacted services and we've gained responders as part of our major incident and incident and ITOM processes. I'm just going to switch this back to service request so we can carry on talking about that. Then I've got the group it's assigned to, who's it assigned to in that group, by default the department that it belongs to. So again, had this been a user that had that information, it would already be preset. I can set my categories of what I want. Planned start and planned end are part of the defaults. Generally, I hide them for people, but again, we were doing a demo about workload, which is why that's there. If you're using planned start and planned end and planned effort, you can then use the workload function in Fresh that starts to give you a view of, well, actually, how much work is being done, how much work is scheduled to be done, changes, incidents, releases, tasks, project tasks, problems, and give you that kind of holistic view. But I'll probably go into that in a much later video. We've then got user location was a custom field that we've added for this instance for doing a demo, which is linked to our locations table. Assignment time is another one that we've got linked for a video. So we were counting the time to assignment and we were time stamping that for some other examples and third-party reference. So you can put whatever you want along here. You can show, hide, mandate, disable, set the options for, control very, very finely those properties down the right-hand side. So let's say, actually for categories, I don't want to show my HR categories, or I don't want to show particular categories, like maybe I've got very specialist categories for my backup and DR team. They're only my backup and DR team care about, and they're very lengthy and they're very long, and my service desk just don't need to see them. I can set business rules in Fresh that allow me to set the options for that. So actually, I'm showing my service desk 6 or 7 categories that are relevant to them, not the 150 possible categories that are relevant to my entire team. So we can set all that. We can say, if it's this, then show this or that. So you can do cascading things and give you that dynamic behavior in the view. So you can do that, but moving those things around and moving them somewhere else on the screen is what I'm saying is one of the limitations. Hit update. So then when it comes to actually replying and using and that sort of thing, we have a default template. So you can go and set this template as you like in terms of the reply template. And now I'm looking at this thinking I should have gone and done that before I demoed it. So you can set the reply template that's saying, hi, name of the person. You can put, quite often what we do is we put a header in there saying, please follow your ticket on the portal or something like that. And then you could also have by default the name of the agent assigned to the ticket in the group. So you can set that reply template and the cursor is always in the right place and it shows you where you're at. And we just reply and we just use that like we would do any other email system. So what we can also do, add attachments, we can insert knowledge articles, and we can also have canned responses. So canned responses are like our standard responses to stuff. So we'll see what we've got there. It's not really very helpful. General. There we go. For example, there you go. Hi, person's name. Thank you for reaching out. We're looking at your request, and here's the thing. So if you've got a standard response that your agents go back to with, or you've got lots of standard messages because you get lots of standard questions, you can save all of them, put the placeholders in, and the system will then insert the dynamic data in there. You can also do those dynamic placeholders with things like service requests. So if those are more dynamic variables that are very specific to service requests, you can embed them in there too. It's really great. We can CC, we can BCC. It's just like any other rich text email formatter. The more we use solutions articles, the more Fresh will suggest solutions articles. So it's a really useful thing to do, and it takes a couple of months for Fresh to learn your system, but it will then start to suggest and say, hey, last time you had a problem that kind of looked like this is the article that you used. It'll start making those suggestions, or indeed use the keywords in the ticket to then narrow this down and give me a list of what are probably semi-relevant articles to give to that user. And I can either just insert that content or I can insert a link. And Fresh will keep track of how often that's been done. We can then also link related tickets. So if this is a master ticket with lots of child tickets, we can see them under here. And if we had child tickets, it would say, do you want to post this update to the child ticket too? We could have tasks. So for example, this ticket is auto-generated on a scheduler for our daily tasks. These are now being automatically added for our agents to go and do. And we can set rules to say, well, you can't close the ticket until you've done all the tasks. You can then measure the tasks, measure the OLA on the tasks, check who's done it, check who hasn't done it, who's doing it on time, all that sort of stuff. So SLAs run on tickets, OLAs run on tasks. We can link assets. If we link our assets, we can then see what tickets were raised for those assets. We can report on that association really easily. We can associate this ticket with other types of thing in Fresh. So purchase orders, changes, project tasks. And if it was an incident, we'd have a slightly different list. We'd say, changes initiating this, changes initiated by this incident, or changes initiating this incident. So you can have it both ways. So if you're trying to say, actually, this incident is off the back of a change, I can link it that way. And if we're saying a change is being initiated from this incident, then we can have it the other way around. Approvals, only available on service requests. Generally, I like to have those organized with workflows. So we automatically add the approval based on the business rules. But you can also come in here and just hit request approval, select somebody from our organization, and that's going to then send that email out with an approval, and then it's going to show very clearly that this is now approval's been requested. When Rachel approves that, it'll go to approved, and then it's really super clear. And we can use that action as a trigger to run the next flow should we have that clearly set out. And then we've got activities. So this is showing me everything that's happened with this ticket. Obviously, they can get quite long over a period of time, but it's a really great way of saying, well, how did this ticket get here? Or what's the SLA being applied? Or what workflow ran? It's all linked in here. So you can see the ticket was raised, the workflow's run and added our tasks. I've been in and set it as an incident. I've moved it back to a service request. I've changed the category. It's logging everything that's going on there. I can also export that. Sometimes they get quite long. You want to export it, go back and see what's going on. And then we've got resolution. So you can mandate resolution if you wish to. You don't have to. But resolution notes also then feed Freddie, the AI from Fresh, to allow you to say, well, actually, my resolution notes are now feeding the AI with notes about my business, so that the AI and other advanced features really then start to learn your organization and learn what worked and what didn't. Again, customizable. Do I want to mandate that? Do I not want to mandate that? When do I want to mandate it? How do I want it to behave? Can control all of that. That isn't an issue at all. It's moving things around on that visual view, difficult. Changing the behavior of the view as it is, very simple. And again, all of the stuff in Fresh, no code, low code, all toggles and selections and that sort of thing. And then finally, top right hand corner, we have watchers. So I can either add myself as a watcher, or I can add other watchers to this ticket and they will be notified. And this is for agents. I can choose to share this ticket. So you can set Fresh to automatically share a ticket with anybody who's in CC, for example, which means that person will be able to see that specific ticket in the portal. Or you can share publicly a link, or you can manually add them. And that allows them to see that ticket, all the public interactions of that ticket in the self-service portal. I can come in here and edit. So maybe I need to change the subject because actually I need to make it clearer, or I need to change who the requester is or the department. I can come and change that here. I can add my attachments if I needed to change that very, very top header, kind of this part here. Reply is just another way of going backwards and forwards down here. We didn't cover adding a note. So we can also do a reply or a forward like an email, and we can add a note, public or private. What I like to say to customers is, if you are replying to your client and the next action is on them, then reply to them. And often what we do is we say, when I reply to the client, then set the status as a waiting customer. Saves 2 clicks. When I'm passively adding an update where I'm not putting the responsibility on the requester, I'm just adding a note. And then we tell Fresh, don't update it, leave it in the state that it was in, because I'm passively providing an update. I'm not putting the action on somebody else. That's how I like to do it. And then associations, same as before, purchase orders, changes initiating, project tasks, we'll get a slightly different list with incidents. And then, so we can then merge tickets together where we've got duplicates, and then that threads them together and the user will get notified. We can execute a scenario. So again, a bit like your canned responses, if there's certain things that you do lots of times, so you close a ticket with a certain set of categories, with a certain user, with a certain note, every single time, because it's a standard procedure, You save that scenario. They're very easy to set up. You just say, on this action, when I run that scenario, set the priority, urgency, add a note, whatever it is you want to do, send an email to the requester. We can set the urgency. We can do anything we want. And that means that what would have been 7, 8, 9, 10, 50 clicks, we can do it in one click. Super, super easy. No code required. Really, really powerful little tool. Add time. So if you wish to do time tracking, that's also hiding down here at the bottom. I would prefer it was at the top. We have given feedback, but that's where it is at the minute. Print. So we can just print out that ticket. Nice and easy, nice and clean, really great. That will print everything that's visible on the screen at the time. So just something to be aware. And then move will, oh sorry, print mark as spam. So we're saying this ticket spam, I don't want to see it again, it's coming from somewhere else. It'll mark it as spam, it'll put it in the spam filter, it'll sit in the spam folder for 6 months and then auto delete. Move is to move to another workspace. So maybe we're collaborating with our neighbors in finance and HR. It's an onboarding ticket, or it's something that isn't actually for us, or we need approval, or whatever it is, and we want to move it to finance or HR. We can just say, move it over there, assign it to this person, and then give it to this, and that'll move that ticket. It will keep the same number, numeric number, and it will pick up a new prefix. Because in HR and legal and that, we can have case, we can have query, we can have, I can't remember the other ones, but you can have a different prefix, but the number will stay the same, so you can keep track of it. And then delete. So normally delete, again, admin function, you wouldn't want to give all your agents delete, but you have the ability to come in here and delete these things. And then if I'm just going through tickets, I can just go to the next one. So I have been talking for half an hour just about ticket view, ticket view and how that works. So I'm going to stop there. Hopefully that's given you a really good overview of the first bits of the agent view in Fresh. We've talked about dashboards, we've talked about tickets, we've talked about the screen, and we'll come back and do a little bit more of a tour around some of the other basic functions. So thanks very much for watching. Look forward to seeing you in part 3. And if there's any comments or questions, then please do leave them below and I'll do my best to address them all directly, or indeed make more videos kind of explaining something that's a little bit more complicated. So thanks very much. Take care. Bye.